The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally.
Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter?
Well, she could be a bit nicer. It's News-ish with Betty Rock on The Wally Show.
There is literally now an app for everything. I know you've heard that, but now it's definitely for sure. There's a new app service where you can hire a bodyguard.
I'm looking this up right now. I could use that'd be nice.
The app is called Protector, and Protector is the name of the private security service.
Wow.
So for $1,000, okay, I know, hear me out. For $1,000,
That's high.
you will have an armed guard, and that armed guard will be your chauffeur in an Escalade for 5 hours, okay? And if you're wondering, an armed guard, they're going to send Joe Schmo over here who can't keep a job. No, it's not that. They're going to be retired law enforcement or active duty guys.
I literally, so again, I'm on the page for this, about to hit download.
Let me ask why this is something that seems so needed to you.
I'm a 5'6" male with no physical strength or jujitsu knowledge, but I'm looking at the page. And yes, these guys look like they mean business, and they'd be worth $1,000.
Yeah, they look intimidating, and most of them, they look bald, which I don't know what it is, but when a guy shaves his head, it's like he's intimidating.
They mean business. He doesn't want that extra, he doesn't have to worry about his hair. I have to put product in. You don't want to hire a guy who puts product in to protect you.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're like Gavin and you're like, man, this sounds like something like I could use. Well, it's only available right now in New York and LA.
Oh,
so if you're outside of those limits, you're going to have to wait a bit. But in a way, it's kind of sad that this service is even needed. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, if you're in a situation, like, for instance, let's say you have a daughter or you have a family that you know is going to New York or LA without you as a husband, then maybe you could hire them. I could see where that $1,000 would be totally worth it if they wanted to go.
If you have the funds for it and you they're the protection of your kid or family member is that high of a priority, I wouldn't shame anyone for purchasing this.
Right. I just wonder if they would shame you if you called and you said, "Excuse me, sir."
Well, I'll let you know how it goes on my next trip to LA.
Hey, just remember, they are trying their best.
You know what? I am not going to give up that easy.
It's News-ish
I'm going to make this way harder than it needs to be.
on The Wally Show.
Okay, Betty Rock, are you a fan of calling customer support for things?
No. I will do anything within my power not to.
Okay, I'm basically the same way. I'm not a big fan, and I'm not great at solving my own problems for the most part, but when it comes to calling customer support, I just it feels like it never works. But so there's a company called Hewlett-Packard. A lot of people will know, HP laptops. So they've started a trend, and this is in Europe for now, but it could move over into the United States if they think it works well. They have just added a minimum 15-minute wait time for everyone who is dialing into their call center for customer support. Now, this is because they just find that there are too many people who are calling in to, get help with the issues that they have instead of going to, and this is what they're trying to do, they're trying to push people to their online service so that people can look up and solve their own problems online.
So in essence, they're hoping that with the 15-minute minimum wait time over the phone, that will force you during those 15 minutes. You're still on their website, still trying to figure it out on your own. Eventually, you'll figure it out on your own, and then you'll hang up, and that'll leave.
Yeah, in essence, stop clogging up their support services.
But then what about the people that actually can't figure it out?
If it's a real big issue,
right,
then and most of the time, if you're calling a company like HP, I don't think your problem is if it doesn't get solved in the next 15 minutes,
right,
we're doomed.
Right.
But I do feel bad for the people who they've gone through everything. They are the kind of person that tries to solve their own problem, didn't, and then they have to wait 15, 20 minutes to actually get the help. And then it just seems like it would be a bummer for those people.
Also, too, can you imagine the customer service if you worked for HP customer service? Because if this is already getting around, the rumor is going around that they are making you wait on purpose. Already customers are grumpy. Already I feel bad for people that work in customer service, but then you're adding on to the grumpiness even more, because now when a customer service agent answers the phone, they'll say, "Hey, it's HP. How can I help you?" And now they're going to just be livid when they could have been just, "Oh, how are you?"
Yeah.
You know?
Or maybe just, it's a big company. Just hire more people to take calls. I think, like for me personally, like I pride myself because I do a lot of the phone calls for the show. I try to get through them as fast, not talk to them as fast as possible, but just like get to you as fast as possible.
Right.
Because like I want to respect your time, and this feels slightly disrespectful of your time.
I would agree with that. Hey, Wally, do you have a minute?
Sorry, busy.
I have cake.
Oh, what do you need?
Yeah, see, that's a perfect example of even though we are busy, we make time for what's important.
Yeah, because going back to school as an adult, you're busy with work, you've got family, but if you want to make your education a priority, trust me, you can do it. Betty did.
Like when I first started, I was super intimidated because it had been a while since I've been in school. But I mean, from the very first conversation, I felt like they were setting me up for success.
Yeah, and going back to school with CCU's flexible online courses makes it so convenient.
Yeah, and what's so cool is every class has a biblical worldview perspective. And so you think, well, how can they turn math into a biblical worldview? They find a way.
Yeah, and that was one of my jobs when I was teaching at CCU, was integrating not just the facts and figures of things, but how your faith plays into what you're going to do.
CCU offers Christ-centered higher education, transforming students to impact the world with grace and truth.
Cultivate your mind without compromising your heart. Get started today at online.ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a non-profit impact partner.
Uplifting Way FM. Recently, I was sitting down with a friend for lunch, and we were talking about some of the things that were bothering her, some of the things that were bothering me, just separately in our lives. I think we all find ourselves there where something makes us feel anxious, or we maybe lose sleep. It maybe takes some of our peace away. And so we started talking about how that's not how God meant for our lives to be. It's not meant to be lived in fear or to be lived in anxiety for what the future holds. And it reminded me, and I told her about it, and she was like, "Oh, I got to get my tickets now." I was telling her about Way FM's first ever women's event. It's called Reclaim, and it might be something that you might be interested in as well. We're going to be talking about those things in our faith that we want to reclaim. So I will be speaking there, Betty Rock, and also Joy Summers from midday, Becca from our afternoons, and then author and speaker Kim Weir will also be speaking. We're all just going to be speaking on the things that we've battled with in our own faith, and then how God can help us reclaim those things. To top it all off, like the cherry on top, to lead worship and to also speak will be our very own Tasha Layton.
Never forgotten, never forsaken, never abandoned, not for a second.
I'm really excited to hear what she has to say, because I know that she has a great testimony about working in on the secular side of things in the music business, and then how God got a hold of her life and has helped her reclaim some of the things in her faith as well. So it's an event you don't want to miss. You can grab your tickets now when you text the word reclaim to 91979. It's happening March 29th here in Franklin, Tennessee. So text the word reclaim to 91979 to grab your tickets, as well as bring a friend, bring a buddy. We would love to see you and all of your friends at Way FM's Reclaim event.
Attention, please. Uplifting Way FM. Celebrities are just like you and me, except for the mansions, tigers, and sequins. It's the Rock Report with Betty Rock.
You know, you've always heard the saying Hollywood magic. In Hollywood, they can just make things happen. And that's the case for these actors and actresses. So I found a list of ones that portrayed a character that might have been younger or older when it didn't match their age in real life.
And sometimes it's just so blatantly and weirdly obvious.
Yeah. Well, one of them was Grease. So Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, they both played high schoolers in the film, but John Travolta was 24 and Olivia Newton-John was 29 at the time.
29 is because I'm 29 right now. And
But
so
to play a high schooler?
I wouldn't put myself in that category of like, oh, that kid, he looks like he could be a
right.
14-year-old.
I mean, that's a huge compliment. Another one is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
You are the dancing queen, young and sweet.
Oh. So I
What-
never
what was that
I never saw these
Oh, my
films.
goodness.
It never looked like anything I would be.
Oh, they're so fun.
Well, did you know that Cher, she played Meryl Streep's mother?
Yes. Oh, there's a-
Cher was only 3 years older than Meryl Streep.
Oh, really?
That's it. And she
Okay.
played her mother. So if I were Cher, I'd be like, obviously I need more work done because
yeah.
3 years older, that's it?
if having watched the movie, like when they're in the movie, they did a good job with the makeup because she does look semi-ancient in her role there.
Wait, did they put like gray hair on her and
No,
stuff?
no, that
Oh.
just looks like her skin looks wrinklier, which makes me. I feel like
Interesting.
I shouldn't be saying that as a man, but that's funny that it's only a 3-year difference.
Yeah. And then finally, this is one that shook me when I found out about it, is the Disney TV show, Hannah Montana. Hello. So you remember her brother.
Yes.
His name was Jason Earls. And he played her brother, so he was 16. He's
Yes.
supposed to be 16
Like
in the
her
show.
older brother in the
Yes.
show.
In actuality, he was 29 at the time.
Oh, I-
29 playing a 16-year-old.
I've known about that, and for him, to his credit, he is semi like baby faced. So
Yes.
whenever you do see him like when he's fully shaved and his hair's kind of down in like a boyish way.
Right.
But it's kind of interesting to go in and be casted.
It's just so odd.
Mm.
But it made me start thinking, like, of course, Wally, if he were in a show, he couldn't play like a 16-year-old or whatever.
no. And he wouldn't shave for it either. Like he wouldn't shave to de-age himself
and
either.
he shouldn't.
No.
I mean,
It's
honestly.
bad.
But if you went by just how he acts, he could play a toddler.
Oh, yeah. He
and
could
he'd be
voice a
shoe-in. Yes, exactly. Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com. Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.